Thank you. Chairman of the Western Hemisphere Subcommittee, Senator Kaine.
Better late than never. With a lot of hearings going on, and I know that there's a vote underway, and many of the questions that I wanted to ask, I was just chatting, I think have been covered pretty well. But I expect to introduce a bill soon to help strengthen the U.S.-Brazil rule of law cooperation in support of protecting the Brazilian Amazon, which will be critical to attracting greater and more sustainable investment in the region. So to you, Mr. Duke, if we're serious about deepening the partnership with Brazil, environmental cooperation is a really important way to do that. It's very good to see the administration plan to commit financial resources to the Amazon Fund, but do you believe the amount is sufficient, and what are other steps that we can take to deepen this U.S.-Brazil partnership on the Amazon?
Thank you, Senator Kaine. And we share your concern with this issue. When we look at what's required on climate change, stopping deforestation in the Amazon is very high on that list. And it also is important for agricultural systems, including potentially our own agricultural systems, due to the way that the health of the Amazon reverberates in the whole region, in the whole hemisphere. And we want to ensure that whatever we do, we support the Lula administration in replicating and even extending its prior success in reducing deforestation in the Amazon region, since they previously cut deforestation rates over 80%, and they're committed now to working quickly to end deforestation and illegal activities in the Amazon region. To do that, though, does require resources, and it requires substantial resources for results-based approaches like the Amazon Fund, for broader approaches that can be involving the private sector. And we are committed to working with partner governments and with Congress and with the private sector in order to get the job done.
I understand my colleagues have significantly raised the issue of concern about Brazilian-Iranian relations, and I'm appreciative that colleagues have raised that, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon in person during a visit that many of us hope to take soon. And I also know that there has been questions asked and discussion about the need to backstop and promote democracy in Brazil, a populous nation, a global leader in so many ways. They saw what so many other nations, including the United States, have seen. I grew up and had the opportunity to work in Honduras as a missionary in 1980 and 81, and it was a military dictatorship. And I sort of grew familiar with the fact, because it caused me to rethink my own naivete, that an awful lot of people in the world live under authoritarians. I just didn't think we would see that impulse here at home. But what we've seen in recent years was a little bit different than the sort of dictatorship that I was familiar with. What we've seen is this tendency of people to come into office via democratic means, but then to try to unwind the democratic institutions that protect democracy, rule of law, free press, independent judiciary. And that was obviously a tremendous problem with the previous administration in Brazil. You see it in Turkey, you see it in El Salvador, you see it all around. You saw it on January 6th here at the Capitol, efforts to undermine democracies by weakening the institutions that guard them. And I do believe that Brazil and the United States can work together. I know my colleagues have raised that as a priority, and I know each of you are committed to that. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.